Hi, I'm Kathy, and welcome to Kids Create. Our theme for this month is ekphrastic poetry. Ekphrastic poetry is poetry that describes, and usually it describes a work of art. It can describe a scene, but mostly it's used for describing a work of art. So the first poem I picked it's called Sunday by Stephen Sondheim, and it describes the painting Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande. Sunday, Sunday by the blue, purple, yellow, red water on the green, purple, yellow, red grass, let us pass through our perfect park, pausing on a Sunday by the cool, blue, triangular water, on a soft, green, elliptical grass as we pass through arrangements of shadow towards the vertical trees forever. By the blue, purple, yellow, red water on the green, orange, violet mass of the grass in our perfect park, made by the flecks of light and dark and parasols, ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-bum, bum. People strolling through the trees of a small suburban park on an island in the river on an ordinary Sunday. My second poem is Wind Pictures by Mary O'Neill. This poem wasn't written specifically for this picture, but I chose the picture Wheat Fields with Cypress Trees by Vincent van Gogh because it fit the theme of the poem. Wind pictures. Look, there's a giant stretching in the sky, 1,000 white-maned horses flying by, a house, a mother mountain with her hills, a lazy lady posing in her frills, cotton floating from 1,000 bales, and a white ship with white sails. See the old witch fumbling with her shawl, white towers piling on a castle wall, the bits of soft that break and fall away, airborne mushrooms, and undersides of gray. Above, a white doe races with her fawn on the white grass of a celestial lawn. Lift up your lovely heads and look as the wind turns clouds into a picture book. Since ekphrastic poems are about descriptions, they can be descriptions of scenes as well as artwork, I picked some excerpts from a couple poems and that describe the scene. So the first excerpt is from Owl Moon, and that's by Jane Yolen, illustrated by John Schoenherr. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. And the next excerpt is from Fairies by John G. Herdun. They danced in the fragrant meadows and frolicked half the night, when the moonlight clothes the heavens in raiment soft and white. The carpets all the dells and glens with tapestries of gold, in which are woven diamonds bright in every length and fold. And when the mystic clock strikes 12, the cricket's minstrel band, composed of court musicians, the greatest in the land, sent forth its sweetest melody from bagpipe, flute, and horn, in welcome to their fairy queen, the daughter of the morn. So ekphrastic poetry is about description, and it's a nice reminder, because it's mostly used to describe paintings, in that when we look and read books to children, that when we read the words, but the pictures in a lot of children's books are just fabulous. So take time with your kids to look at the pictures. And you can look at the pictures, and young children are learning words and naming things, but also we can describe emotions, trying to figure out what is going on in a picture. What is he going to do? Does she look, someone happy, sad? also colors, different colors, like the first poem we read used a lot of colors. And so you can use colors, descriptions. And so it really builds up a child's, not only their vocabulary, but also the ability to start looking at details in books and pictures. And along those lines, I have one of my favorite books I read with my granddaughter is I Took the Moon for a Walk. And it's by Carolyn Curtis and Alison Jay. But it's got lovely pictures in it. But one of the things that we like to do is they have many details. It just looks like a big picture, but there's tiny little details. So for example, in this picture, we use a magnifying glass to see all the details. And if you zoom in on that church, you'll see there's a ghost coming out, and there's bats coming out, and a man walking in. Things you might not notice in the big picture. So when you're reading to your child, use the pictures, use the description, and have fun. And hopefully I'll see you next month.